all know about Musk's ambitious goal, which is colonizing Mars and supporting a permanent city on it. And for this, he had launched his Starship program. Nowadays, this program is gaining speed rapidly. As we know, nothing great comes easily and lightly. That's why SpaceX built its first static fire that can lift a weight of up to 300 tons. Wait a second, are you wondering about this? Watch our video until the end as we'll be disclosing everything on SpaceX's first static fire. SpaceX Starship and Raptor engines both are necessary to each other. As Musk dreams to make a city on Mars, the first static fire of SpaceX will be beneficious. The static fire generally means an engine which is fired for a few seconds while the launch vehicle is held firmly attached to the launch mount. These are the test engines that start up after measuring temperature, propellant, flow gradients, and pressure, and can be performed with or without payload. The capability of this static fire to bear payload is undoubtedly insane. It can lift 300 tons of Raptor engines into space with no trouble, and these Raptor engines have been claimed to be able to deliver long life with its fuel power, methane turbo pump, and also utilize a full-flow combustion cycle and an oxygen turbo pump. Raptor engines locally have a thrust of more than twice the SpaceX Merlin 1D engine, which powers Falcon 9 and heavy launch vehicles. In April, when Musk showed off a batch of the new Raptor 2 engines at SpaceX's Starbase facility in Texas, seemed proud. These Raptors will be used on the first orbital flight of the company's Starship mega rocket later this year. The Raptor 2 rocket engines at Starbase equally produce over 230 tons of force, Musk wrote in his Twitter post on April 26. The SpaceX Starship contains 6 Raptor engines, but true optimization seems more obliging, and that's what matters. The optimization for 6 Raptor engines is 3 for sea level and 3 for vacuum. SpaceX is making good progress toward the heavy lift static fire. This all started in July 2021, and in May it completed its upgrading for a super heavy lift. This goal is being completed by 33 new Raptor 2 engines, which are more powerful than previous Raptor 1 engines. Nothing is impossible if we dare to pursue it, was the only thing Musk might be thinking while the installation of new Raptor 2 engines in the Starship. The work of this insane static fire was divided into stages. The first stage involves the installation of engines with clearance, and the second stage involves the use of the arm stabilizers. To make a static fire lift 300 tons of weight to space is not an easy task. In fact, installing Raptor 1 engines is an easier task than installing Raptor 2 engines. The arm stabilizers are located below the arms and convey in stabilizing either boosters or the ships during lift operations. These reduce the risk of vehicles as they hang several meters above the ground and allow the arms to control more carefully. These stabilizers move inwards against the booster. The arms then moved the booster to the launch mount and lowered it into position, and the work was completed here with the booster being connected to the launch mount clamps and successfully secured to it. Once the arms are stable, the lifting will be started one more time. And in the month of June, the first testing of static fire was done. Every single person waited to see that lift, and in its first test, it had lifted one at a time. In the second test, which was completed in November, the Starship SN20 vehicle had ignited all 6 of its Raptor engines in a brief static fire test at Starbase. And the new one will soon complete its first orbital flight with 29 engines. SN20 is a Starship prototype. This plan, however, changed with Elon Musk. He announced that the first orbital flight would involve Raptor 2 engines. Ship 20 or SN20 have significant improvements and orbital capability. Next major technology rev is at SN20. Those ships will be orbit capable with a heat shield and stage separation system. Ascent success probability is high. However, SN20 Plus vehicles will probably need many flight attempts to survive Mark 25 entry, heating, and land intact. This would mean that S20 will be the first prototype of the third batch of fully stacked Starships, with the first batch being SN8 to 11 and the second batch being SN15-16. This ship work on the TPS styles continued for 1 month, and after it underwent an ambient proof test and was cryo proof tested for the first time. After that, RVAC-5, which is a vacuum Raptor engine with reduced belt size for sea level testing, and an SL Raptor, both were installed in SN20. Musk probably isn't literal, but yes, he had informed us a lot about the Raptor engines. This static fire had faced a lot of problems throughout its construction. Also, Elon Musk is looking for a launch license, because now only the guarantee of the Federal Aviation Administration USA for the first orbital flights. The test flights will be taking place in South's Boca Chica, Texas. To make this flight successful, Elon Musk has to keep an eye on each and every single thing, and mainly the 75 changes suggested by the Federal Aviation Administration FAA USA. We know Musk will look through the environmental assessments for outstanding upshots while testing the SpaceX static fire. Moreover, Starship is SpaceX's ambitious project to date, as Elon-owned entity wants to use it to send humans and cargo to Mars using this vehicle. In fact, Starship has already been selected by NASA for making a Starship to land on the moon before 2025, and the latter's Artemis mission as the first crewed lunar landing system. SpaceX is on the cusp of kicking off one of the most important and awaited test campaigns in the history of Starship. Well, we all probably know that Starship is planned to be used in various applications, including Earth orbit satellite delivery, deployment of a large portion of SpaceX Starlink satellite constellation, and exploration, but more importantly, it was mainly for the moon landing and the colonization of Mars. Starship rocket will assess its abilities to burn fuel consistently over a time period. Starship is a two-stage, two-orbit launch vehicle. It consists of the Super Heavy booster stage and the spacecraft. The spacecraft has 4 variants. They are cargo, crew, propellant tanker, and lunar lander. This Starship program includes the first stage booster and the upper stage vehicle. The stages consisted of Super Heavy vehicles up to 165 meter tall and the Starship. Both are made with a fully reusable design, and because they are made reusable, that's why they are wished to look at every single thing and the environmental requirements given by the FAA. The FAA several times had delayed the deadline, saying it had to discuss the findings with other agencies and sift through thousands of public comments, which were sent after a draft version released in September 2021. The time they are fully stacked, the Starship and Super Heavy combined stand 395 feet tall, which is approximately 120 meters, making it the world's tallest rocket. SpaceX eventually plans to use this Starship to take us and cargo to Moon, eventually for NASA, and then aim for Mars and other solar system destinations. Now, we'll have a second Starship stack ready to fly in August, and then monthly thereafter. Musk added in a tweet. SpaceX will continue to prepare its latest Starship prototype for a landmark orbital test flight. Starship is NASA's lander of choice for its Artemis program. This program aims to put astronauts on the moon, but no earlier than 2025, and Musk wants to send people to Mars around the same time. Landing Moon and Mars at the same time, not possible. So what will you choose, landing to Moon or landing to Mars? But Musk is probably known for setting aggressive targets at both places, SpaceX and his car manufacturing company Tesla. And definitely, anyhow, Elon Musk will achieve his aim and make his dream come true. Things like this will continue to happen. Elon Musk will undoubtedly fulfill his dream. But apart from this, what are your views on these questions? Will the static fire lift this much weight, or will Musk's dream of colonizing Mars just be a dream? Will the Starship land on Mars? Will Musk get that launch license? Reddy has a plan to handle life in Raptor's journey and planning to make it land on Mars soon in case of all this succeed. And talking about success, SpaceX has also finally shown its super heavy lift Mechazilla rocket OLM with B733 engines that ready to go. To know more about this, just click on the video.